Fall is one of those times, if you've got kids, you know, you get them back into school and then all of a sudden people come home sniffling and sneezing and snot running out their face, and it's just a time to get sick. And so as I was thinking about what we were going to do this week, I thought, you know what, let's cover the top illnesses in the fall season and talk through a simple layman's terms definition or description of that, common signs and symptoms, and then tips for prevention and treatment. And so I've got a list of 10 enfermedades comunes en el otoño, and I didn't make this up. Really smart people say that these are 10 things that happen a lot in the fall. So I learned a lot as I was checking this out. Vamos a ver la lista de 10 enfermedades. So, 10 enfermedades comunes. Primero, las alergias. Oh, these are not in order of importance or frequency. It's orden alfabético. Muy bien. El asma. El dolor de garganta. Y la enfermedad de Raynaud. This was one I learned, okay? La gripe, influenza. Insuficiencia cardíaca, another surprise to me. Insuficiencia. Insuficiencia is the word that it's insufficiency, and es la palabra that you're going to use for failure in most contexts. Not the 30-year-old living in your basement. Just kidding. But failure in the, like liver failure, heart failure, kidney failure, etc. is insuficiencia, insufficiency. Muy bien. La osteoartritis, el resfrío, resfriado, common cold, la sinusitis, y el trastorno afectivo estacional, seasonal affective disorder. Trastorno is what you'll use for disorder in all of your mental health kinds of contexts as well. Okay, so really smart people say that these 10 enfermedades son más comunes, or at least muy comunes, en el otoño, in autumn, in fall. And so let's jump right into our first one, las alergias. And yeah, alergias estacionales. We're talking about seasonal allergies, right? Maybe not peanuts. Alergias estacionales. So, descripción sencilla. Es una reacción de su sistema inmune, so your immune system, or inmunitario, a cosas que no molestan, things that don't bother a la mayoría de otras personas. Okay, so es una reacción de su sistema inmune, or sistema inmunitario. Signos y síntomas comunes. Goteo nasal, runny nose. Estornudos, sneezing. Picazón, itchiness. Sarpullidos, rashes or hives. Hinchazón, swelling. Y asma, ¿verdad? Una reacción severa de alergias se llama anafilaxia. Maybe it's not related to seasonal allergies, but since we're talking about allergies, we might as well talk about anaphylaxis. So, anafilaxia es falta de aire, dificultad para respirar, pulso débil, weak pulse, y shock. Okay? Shock is a real word in español. Prevención, tratamiento. So, antihistamínicos, aerosoles nasales, I didn't say that very well, aerosoles nasales, esteroides para bajar la inflamación, aerosoles nasales, that's a tough one, but they're esteroides, corticoesteroides para bajar la inflamación nasal, y descongestionantes, that's a misspelling, it's just ES, descongestionantes. Okay, muy bien. Asma. Moving on to our next one. Descripción sencilla. Las vías respiratorias, airways, las vías respiratorias se inflaman, inflame, y se estrechan, they get tighter. Una vez que están inflamadas y estrechas, once they're inflamed and restricted or tight, son muy sensibles a irritantes y alergias. They're very sensitive to irritants and allergies. Signos y síntomas. Respiración con sibilancia, so wheezing. Respiración con sibilancia. Tos en mañana y en la noche. Presión en el pecho, pressure in your chest, dificultad para respirar. Prevención y tratamiento. Tomar sus medicamentos correctamente. Medicinas de control a largo plazo, so long-term control, y medicinas de alivio rápido, so short-term or emergency meds, ¿verdad? Medicinas de alivio rápido. Evitar las cosas que desencadenan ataques. So avoid things that trigger or provoke attacks, ¿verdad? Y finalmente, hablar con su proveedor, provider, sobre cómo mantener actividad física, about how to maintain physical activity, y no provocar el asma, and not cause asthma or trigger your asthma. Un ataque, ¿ok? Bien, continuamos. Dolor de garganta, dolor de garganta. This one I had a little harder time giving a simple description of dolor de garganta, but here we go. Puede ser causado por virus o bacteria, amigdalitis, faringitis, so amigdalitis, tonsillitis, faringitis por streptococo, so strep throat básicamente, y mononucleosis son ejemplos de enfermedades que causan dolor de garganta. Signos y síntomas. So, goteo nasal, runny nose, inflamación de las amígdalas. So, your amígdalas are your tonsils, okay? It's not a part of your brain, they're your tonsils. Inflamación de la faringe, dolor al pasar saliva, so painful swallowing. So, pasar saliva is a great way to say swallow when we're not talking about swallowing food or actually ingesting something. Just the action of that action, swallowing, pasar saliva. Fiebre, dolor de cabeza, parches blancos, so spots or patches, white patches or manchas blancas or white spots en la garganta. Y amígdalas enrojecidas. What are amígdalas again? Tonsils. So red tonsils. See, enrojecidas, red. Los niños pueden presentar con dolor abdominal y o vómitos. So stomach pain and vomiting, ¿verdad? En los niños. Prevención, tratamiento. Lavarse las manos con frecuencia. Lavarse las manos con frecuencia. Evitar, avoid, tocarse los ojos y la boca. Taparse la boca cuando tose o estornuda. Tose is the verb to cough, estornuda, the verb to sneeze. So taparse la boca cuando tose o estornuda. Now, what if you didn't really know how to say, cover your mouth with the inside of your elbow or something like that? Remember what we did last week? There was a word that we could use that means just like this or like so. So, taparse la boca así, no con las manos. Así, cuando tose o estornuda. Ok, bien. Un cultivo de muestra de garganta y antibióticos para infecciones bacterianas. So un cultivo is a culture that you would take to a lab for a test, not la cultura. Una cultura is, the standards or the norms that a group of people live by. Un cultivo is what you take to the lab, is a sample that you take to the lab for un cultivo. Cultivar is the verb to grow, and so now it starts to make a little bit more sense. Un cultivo. All right, bien. Enfermedad de Raynaud. And this was one I was completely unfamiliar with. Descripción sencilla. En el frío, los vasos sanguíneos, blood vessels, los vasos sanguíneos se restringen y en las manos y los pies no reciben suficiente sangre. So hands and feet don't get enough blood because los vasos sanguíneos se restringen. Okay? Signos y síntomas. Las manos y los pies se ponen blancos y azules con la restricción de los vasos sanguíneos. So, when no hay sangre, cuando no hay sangre, las manos y los pies se ponen blancos y azules. Cuando los vasos sanguíneos abren otra vez, when they open up again, uno siente hormigueo, you feel tingling, palpitaciones, palpitations, y enrojecimiento, and redness. Okay? Prevención, tratamiento. Mojar las manos en agua tibia, warm. Tibia is warm. Moisten or soak las manos en agua tibia cuando siente el primer signo, when you first feel the first signs. Mantener las manos y los pies calientes. Keep your hands and feet warm. Y evitar el estrés. Buena suerte with that one. Evitar el estrés. I love that suggestion. I'm just not sure how to follow through. Okay, la gripe. La gripe, the flu. Some people will say la gripa, and that's fine. It's a natural thing to do because it's la and gripa. It happens to a lot of words in Spanish that are technically should end in E, but they get put an A on them because it's femenina la palabra. So, la gripa, la gripe. La gripe is like traditionally what the word is, but you've probably heard la gripa more than once. Descripción sencilla. Es una infección respiratoria causada por virus. Signos y síntomas. Dolores de cuerpo y músculos, so body and muscle aches. Escalofríos, chills. Fiebre, fever, tos, cough. Dolor de cabeza, dolor de garganta. Prevención y tratamiento. Vacunarse contra la gripe en el otoño. So vacunarse, get immunized or vaccinated contra la gripe en otoño, in the fall. Vacuna antigripal is what it is. It's called the vacuna antigripal. Lavarse las manos, comer saludable, eat healthy, hacer ejercicio, dormir suficiente, sleep enough, cubrir su boca cuando tose, con el brazo. Muy bien. Tomar muchos líquidos para tratamiento now. Tomar muchos líquidos, drink a lot of fluids, descansar, rest, usar acetaminofén e ibuprofeno para dolores y fiebre. Some people have asked in the past, what does this A mean here? I thought and was E. Well, it's true. And is E with a Y, but we make it a with an English E here when the next word starts with an I. To not have ibuprofeno, it's ibuprofeno to hear the and. Because if yours ibuprofeno, you'd miss the and. So we catch it by adding a there, replacing the E with a. Ibuprofeno para dolores y fiebre. Vestirse para estar cómodo durante los escalofríos y las fiebres. So vestirse, get dressed. Dress comfortably for both escalofríos y fiebre. Escalofríos, chills, and fevers. Bien. Insuficiencia cardíaca. Descripción sencilla. El corazón no puede bombear, pump, suficiente sangre por el cuerpo. Can't pump enough blood throughout the body. Signos y síntomas. Acumulación de sangre, accumulation de sangre y líquidos and liquids en los pulmones, resulting in falta de aire y cansancio. Acumulación de líquido en los pies, los tobillos y las piernas, resulting in edema, ¿verdad? Prevención y tratamiento. Controlar su peso, control your weight. Prevención, mantener buenos niveles de colesterol. Coma una dieta saludable, eat a healthy diet. Haga ejercicio regularmente. Limite el alcohol, limit alcohol. No fumar. Controle el estrés, again. Controle la diabetes. Keep your diabetes under control. Y dormir lo suficiente. Sleep enough. Ahora, tratamiento. Medicamentos para tratar la presión. Beta bloqueantes. Digitálicos para mejorar el flujo de sangre. So, para mejorar, improve el flujo, flow de sangre. Cirugías, marcapasos, desfibriladores, etc. ¿Ok? Muy bien. Osteoartritis. Osteoartritis, descripción sencilla. Inflamación y o hinchazón, swelling. Inflammation and swelling de las articulaciones por in this case is caused by or because of, por envejecimiento, aging, o una lesión, some kind of injury. Signos y síntomas. We've got dolor y rigidez, rigidity, stiffness, en las articulaciones. Articulaciones you're seeing as joints, right? Dolor y rigidez en las articulaciones. Hinchazón de las articulaciones, swelling in the joints. Prevención y tratamiento. Analgésicos, inyecciones articulares. Articulares relates to articulaciones, right? So injections in the joints. Y reemplazo articular, reemplazo, replacement. Bien. El resfrío, we're winding down now. El resfrío. Descripción sencilla of el resfrío, which is common cold. Descripción sencilla, una infección viral que dura 1 hasta 2 semanas. Signos y síntomas del resfrío, estornudos, dolor de garganta, nariz tapada y tos. So, estornudos, sneezing, dolor de garganta, nariz tapada, so stuffy nose, y tos, cough. Prevención y tratamiento. Lavarse las manos con frecuencia, again. Comer saludable, eat healthy. Y tratamiento, descansar, rest. Tomar muchos líquidos. Hacer gárgaras con agua, tibia y sal. Hacer gárgaras, gargle, yeah? Hacer gárgaras con agua tibia. What was tibia again? Tibia is warm. Agua tibia y sal, salt. Tomar pastillas para la tos. Now, throat lozenge or cough drop, etc. It's really kind of a tough word, but it's tough because when you think of pill, when you think of pastilla, you think of pill. But tomar pastillas para la tos or pastillas para la garganta, that's what you're going to use for a lozenge, okay? Pastillas. Bien. Sinusitis. Descripción sencilla. Of course, sinusitis, right? Descripción sencilla. Inflamación de los senos nasales. Los senos nasales. Senos also, careful a little bit, because senos also means breasts in Spanish. But senos nasales, sinuses. Puede empezar como resfriado, can start as a cold, y luego convertirse en una infección bacteriana and turn into a bacterial infection. Notice resfriado I used here, and previously we used resfrío, 2 common words for common cold. Okay? Signos y síntomas. Fiebre, debilidad, weakness. A couple illnesses ago when we were talking about anaphylaxis, we had pulso débil. Well, débil is the adjective, weak. So, yo estoy débil or me siento débil. Debilidad is the noun, weakness, debilidad. Okay, fatigue, tos, cough, congestión. Goteo postnasal. Goteo is dripping anything. So, postnasal. So, like postnasal drip, ¿verdad? Prevención y tratamiento. Antibióticos, descongestionantes, analgésicos. All right, bien. Y el trastorno afectivo estacional, SAD, Seasonal Affective Disorder. Descripción sencilla. Cuando las noches se ponen más largas, when the nights get longer, puede afectar al estado de ánimo, mood, de algunas personas. Es como una depresión. Okay? It's like a depression. Maybe it is depression. You decide. Signos y síntomas. Desesperanza. A sort of hopelessness, ¿verdad? Aumento de apetito y peso. So increased appetite and weight. Aumento del sueño. More tired. Increased tiredness. Menos energía. Less energy. Y menos capacidad para concentrarse. Less ability to focus or concentrate. Pérdida, loss of. Pérdida de interés en el trabajo, loss of interest in work. Y en otras actividades and other activities. Tristeza e irritabilidad. Why we do e there again? Because irritabilidad begins with I. So tristeza e irritabilidad, so sadness and irritability. Prevención, tratamiento. Dormir suficiente, sleep enough. Consumir una dieta saludable, eat a healthy diet. Hacer ejercicio con frecuencia, frequent exercise. Tomar los medicamentos de manera correcta, take your medicines correctly. No usar alcohol y drogas ilícitas, so don't use alcohol and illegal drugs. Bien. Okay, muchas gracias. That's all we've got. If you'd like to learn more about other opportunities to improve your medical Spanish, you could head to our website, commongroundinternational.com. Again, I'm Rory. It's my pleasure to do this with you on a weekly basis. My goal is that you would be confident in your Spanish, in not just any old Spanish, but have the right vocabulary, have the right understanding of the way we describe things, and need to talk with patients so that you can use responsible Spanish with your patients. Thanks for all the hard work you put into your language. It really does make a difference in your community, and that's the big goal. Have a great weekend. Hasta luego. Hey, thank you for joining me today on this Video Viernes lesson. I wanted to invite you to join our community if you're not a member of the Facebook group already, that I deliver these live lessons in on most every Friday. And also point you to the website where you can find a bunch more information about medical Spanish, whether that be courses or free materials for you, or finding a private tutor to work with you online or face-to-face. And also let you know about some amazing Spanish immersion programs, either you as a medical person or your significant other as working in some other industry, or your family. If you want to improve your Spanish and you have time and budget to go do some travel, our programs are pretty amazing. I think it'd be fun to work with you. And finally, if you have some document work at your clinic or at your hospital or within your setting that needs to be professionally translated, shoot me a message, upload your document to us, and we can get you a quick quote and help you out with your Spanish language documents as well. Have a great day.